Welcome to Sounds of PDX. Happy Friday night. Portland Radio Project listeners, happy 2026. Wow, very glad to have you joining us for our first drop-in session of the new year. I'm your host, Veronica Bisesti. As always, I'm thrilled to be here on a Friday night. We made it through 2025. Let's see what 2026 has in store. Who the heck knows? Port Velvet is what happens when deep roots in the Pacific Northwest music scene collide. Post-punk edges, synth-pop grooves, rich melodies, and dark undercurrents. This collaboration between Brent Knopf and Patti King brings my little 80s new wave heart a lot of joy. And I'm very happy to say that both Patti and Brent, yay, are here in the studio right now. Welcome to Portland Radio Project.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I am very happy, Brent, that you were able to make it. That jury duty ended for you.
It did, yeah.
Was it good?
I grabbed the gavel, slammed it down,
and said
guilty.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I got things to do.
PRP is waiting. Let's go. Yeah.
I get it. Port Velvet has a show coming up at Mississippi Studios on January 9th, and we've got a couple of tunes from their self-released debut album, Midnight is Calling, queued up to listen to. I did want to kind of start on a little bit of a bummer. MTV just this week closed its last music video channel, shut it down. And I bring this up, I bring this up for a reason other than just liking to talk about it. But when MTV started in 1981, like it was this thing that became, instead of listening to the radio, you were watching the television. You were waiting for that favorite video or favorite song to come on. And in 1981, again, when MTV started, and those subsequent years immediately after that, I think that MTV really provided a spotlight into those musical subcultures that we weren't just necessarily getting on radio here. And I find this poignant for us all being together here tonight because one of those musical subcultures is that whole post-punk and new wave aesthetic. So I'd like to know how the two of you found each other, how Port Velvet came about, and how that love, that mutual love, because I did a little poking around about you guys and the influences, how that mutual love of that genre, subgenre of music is what made Port Velvet what it is.
I guess Brent is really the one who got the collaboration started. He had a dream to just keep making music, and he knows enough about himself that he likes to have a collaborator to make music with.
I like to have someone to blame when things don't turn out well.
Yeah, or someone to pull you out of the mud when you get stuck. And we have a bunch of mutual friends, and we had known each other for a few years, and then he just asked one day to meet for coffee. I think it was during COVID?
Well, maybe. Well, I remember I saw you on YouTube singing with the Portland Cello Project, doing a cover of Radiohead's song "Climbing Up the Walls," and it rarely happens to me, but the hairs on the back of my neck kind of stood up.
Wow!
And that's because I was fishing around, asking friends for who is your favorite vocalist in Portland, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, Patti, I didn't know that you sang lead. I knew that you were a musician and because you'd played in Radiation City and other projects. I knew you had chops, but I didn't know that you sang lead. And so that's what caused me to suggest that we get hot chocolate.
And then just through our discussions of trying to find a common vision, I think Brent, when did the Never Ending Story come up?
That was a really early...
Yeah, I think I've just been obsessed with that soundtrack for several years, and I was just in the time of being passionate about it, and so that sort of ignited Brent's passion for it. And then we talked about some of our favorite records, and I think I said if I could make the perfect record, it would sound like Tears for Fears, The Hurting, Chairlift something. Did I say any other records?
Never Ending Story probably.
And then the Never Ending Story. So anything that sounds like that. And then Brent was also you had a bunch of other influences from sort of around that time and that genre.
Yeah. Do you remember what they were?
I remember you were like, I've been obsessed with Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. Have you been listening to that? And I was like, I haven't listened to it much, but I'm going to put it on right now. And now I'm obsessed. And then also Cyndi Lauper's She's So Unusual, that kind of came up around the same time. And
yeah.
And then go ahead.
In hindsight, what's funny is that we realized that so many of the touch points of our aesthetic influences, that stuff that we would kind of study, we listen, and it's all from 1983. That, not just the early 80s, but that particular year. So, Billy Idol, Cyndi Lauper, Tears for Fears, The Hurting, all of it is in the same year, and I just think that's such a funny coincidence. Anyway.
There are very particular years in the 80s that are the defining years for that entire decade when it comes to what wasn't called alternative rock at the time, but what we now consider to be alternative rock. And 1983 is by far the premier year.
Wow.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And we just sort of came to it from the outskirts.
Yeah, we didn't know. I was like, when was this record made? Oh, same year. Huh, weird.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Does it make it more interesting to create music together, having those relatively retro, well, I guess they're all retro, influences and the opportunity to kind of discover them through each other? Because it's not necessarily music that you're listening to all the time now, but when you're sitting down and saying, okay, let's be creative with Port Velvet in mind, and you're bringing a certain aesthetic to the table, you're getting an opportunity to hear music you had never heard before. What's that feel like?
Well, Patti introduced me to, of course I love Nine Inch Nails, but she also introduced me to some of the Nine Inch Nails catalog that I hadn't spent as much time with. And so that was really fun to kind of round out our aesthetic edges that way a bit.
Yeah. It's really satisfying when you're the person bringing the music to the collaboration. And then you get to have that, that brand new, that first exposure moment with someone, and they're like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, validation. Yeah. My taste is good.
I'm right.
That's what I felt about Chairlift, because I had never heard Chairlift before. And also L'Impératrice is another one of the artists that you like. Yeah.
I remember now you were very into Depeche Mode, and that was also one of the nuggets at the beginning of our sound.
Yeah. I know that there's this music spans from post-punk through new wave through alternative music, but it really does feel to me like there is a thread that connects Depeche Mode with Joy Division, with Tears for Fears, with Nine Inch Nails, or even PJ Harvey. To me, it feels like it's part of the same vein that you could mine in the earth or something like that. I'm sure I'm completely wrong about that, but
that feels true to me.
Oh, I agree with you. I think there was very easy to kind of peg it when you had music that, particularly very synth-driven music, you had that common thread. But when you kind of branch out into other genres of music and into other decades, it changes based on what the new technology sounds like, how accessible economically it is. But there is always that common thread. I think it's the outsider approach. I think that's what makes alternative, and inevitably where it came from, the subcultures of punk rock and post-punk. It's the outsider, it's the DIY aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's us.
Boy,
There you go.
This is the most DIY project that I've done in a long time.
Yeah. Same.
DIY is good. DIY is where it's fun. Well, okay then.
I agree. No, I think it's super fun. We mixed the record ourselves. For a long time we thought who's going to mix it, and then eventually we realized
we're the only ones.
That we were sadistic, but not that sadistic that we would subject someone to our exacting standards. So we mixed it ourselves. Did everything. We wrote the songs together over and over.
Brent spent 2 weeks making a stop motion animation music video for Hold Still. You've never done anything like that, right?
Will you ever do it again?
It was a blast. Yeah, we got very lucky. We got to hole up in Shadow Machine, which is a Portland, Oregon animation studio, famous for Pinocchio. What's his name? I want to say Benicio del Toro, but that's not his name. Guillermo. Okay, sorry. I get confused.
You get your Del Toros.
Is that his last name? I'm sure I'm wrong. Anyway, yeah, we got to, because they had like a vacant studio there, and I had some friends who worked there, they let us sit up there, and we filmed our very own stop motion music video.
How
and
cool.
Bonus points if you could figure out what the medium of the stop motion animation is.
Yeah.
You'll probably never guess, but once I tell you, you'll be like, holy crap.
Yeah. Very DIY.
Okay, so I will make sure to link on our website, prp.fm, where people can check out that video.
Yeah.
Because that sounds,
it's a work
I'm
of art.
intrigued. I may do it. Do it. Whilst we are listening to a single from your debut album, Midnight is Calling, we have Eyes on Us queued up. Give us a little bit of background on this tune.
Ooh.
Well, this song actually changed a lot from start to finish. For a long time, it didn't have a chorus. It was very different. It evolved so much. And I think it ended up being like our biggest, like, quote unquote pop hit, pop friendly hit. But it is a very dark subject that I think is Brent's fault. I think Brent is the one who pulled us in that direction.
I had the most pleasant upbringing, and so therefore the art that I make is just unnecessarily grim, for no reason, because I have to somehow introduce.
Now I have to go watch this video.
I have to introduce darkness into my world. Yeah, for sure. And by pop hit, you mean like it's reached dozens of listeners?
It's dancey fun. It gets the crowd going at our shows.
It most definitely does. I can absolutely tell that. All right, this is Eyes on Us by local duo Port Velvet. You're listening to Sounds of PDX on Portland Radio Project. We're live in the studio on Sounds of PDX here on Portland Radio Project with local duo Port Velvet. Brent and Patti are here. Thanks again for schlepping yourselves down here on a Friday night.
Oh, our pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Wow.
It's so nice down here. We got the tree lights.
Yes, we still have our little Christmas tree up in our PRP studio,
And a disco ball. Was that here year round, or is that a New Year's Eve thing?
No, the disco ball is here all the time. We
right.
disco.
Yeah.
We get down. That's how we roll here at PRP. You talked a little bit earlier about self-editing, self-post production of Midnight is Calling. You self-released that album. This was a total, the two of you. Mm-hmm. Why self-release? You jokingly mentioned people not wanting to work with you. Actually, I don't think that's exactly what you said, but maybe that was. But why do that? I'm curious as to why do that.
Well, to be honest, as far as like label support, it's a difficult world. I mean, it's been turning into a difficult world for a long time, where labels aren't actually able to provide the support that they once could, and you almost have to self-release something first, and you have to build your own fan base, and you have to
have that viral moment or something.
You already have to be established.
Yeah.
Completely established before a label will even take interest. And then, honestly, like the two of us, Brent and I, are so capable, and we love researching. We love getting to the bottom of things and handling things ourselves. And we were both like, there's not much that a label could do that we can't do on our own, like in all honesty. And we we recorded the album ourselves. We didn't pay for any studio time. We mixed it ourselves. The budget was all very low. So we just took it all the way there ourselves.
It's a tough time to be an independent artist. It's a very tough time to be an independent label. Yeah. Anyway, we could kvetch about that, I think, the whole night. But I think if I look at the artists that I see who have signed to labels recently, I'm looking at artists that have established themselves first, and then they get signed. And I feel and also I think we didn't really want to ask permission from anyone, or wait to get some sort of thing going. I think labels are in a really hard position, because it's I don't really blame them. I wish that there was a more thriving business environment for this, because I remember I read that for mixing the album Siamese Dream by the Smashing Pumpkins, they needed a little more time to mix. and they ended up getting an extra $250,000 for the extra time to mix. And that just gives you an example of like how far we've come, where like this album that we made together, we made,
$17.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
We'll be recouping for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting about Siamese Dream, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with why Billy Corgan thinks he's just the best in the entire world, and everyone has ripped everything off from him. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I heard he's a zero.
Oh, Billy Corgan. Well, so let's keep talking about that a little bit, because you're both in other projects. When you made the decision to collaborate and have Port Velvet be something that was serious enough to put some, tracks down on some wax, how much do your other projects and the relationships that you have because of those other projects play or not play into the success of another project, another independent project?
Well, I'd say that one of the ways that we've benefited the most is just from having a fan base.
Okay.
Like access to a fan base of any kind.
Yeah.
And so outreach, getting the word out to those fan bases, that's an advantage that we have that other groups, like brand new groups, don't have. And then also having like the support, sharing social media posts, coming out to shows, telling friends about your friend's new band, like having that kind of support has really been a benefit to us.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think you can shake a stick in Portland, and although this is not unique to the music scene here, but without hitting somebody that is in at least two bands. It seems to be a very common practice to venture out into multiple creative projects. How does that affect project to project? Does it give you an opportunity to go, okay, I'm going to get my synth pop jam on over here, but I'm going to do XYZ in this direction and then ABC in the other direction? Or do you find, or is switching gears more difficult? I'm curious.
That's a great question. I do view it as like the projects keep each other kind of in balance in a way. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So Port Velvet has been more, synth based, and like this LVI project that I'm involved in is much more guitar based, for example. Yeah. How would you compare and contrast?
Well, to be honest, I mean, most of the projects that I'm a part of, I'm more of a performer or hired to come in and perform on the record or perform live. So
You're the guest star.
Or, I'll just be the quote unquote hired gun. But as far as the creative projects that I do, yes, having multiple projects that I'm involved in does allow me to sort of categorize the creativity that I have. And like when I have an inspiration, I'm like, oh, this is a Port Velvet song.
Okay.
Or like, oh, I have a project with Lizzie Ellison from Radiation City that someday will get done, but that has a very unique style on its own too. And so like I can separate, like when I go on different paths in my creative journey, those things have an outlet.
Do you have to specify that path? Do you have to sit down and go, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on right now? Or is it when the creativity oozes out, you then define which direction it's going to go?
The latter,
okay.
For me at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think in any situation, what I'm looking for is just whatever feels like true. Like what does the song want to be, and trying to take direction from whatever ephemeral spirit the song has. And so a lot of times I feel like I'm like, holding up cards and be like, is this your card? It's like, no. Okay. Right. Is this your card? Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of that. And I'll just add to like, in terms of our previous projects or other projects, like the guys from Menomena have come out to our shows, and like we're using like Justin's in-ear monitors on, on stage. So like they've been so supportive and so nice. And I hope I haven't abused any privileges by like doing a little post on the, Menomena socials or LVI socials or whatever, I feel just very supported by, and to me, that's the most beautiful thing about the Portland music community ever, is that rather than it being a cutthroat, my success is your loss kind of attitude, or vice versa, I feel like people are excited to see each other make cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what I love so much about.
Stronger together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It isn't a competition.
Yeah.
It's a community.
Yeah. I feel like that is one thing about Portland that survived COVID.
Yeah.
Is that community feeling in the music scene.
That and the frogs. Yep. Well, you mentioned the ability to kind of network and having your other projects showing up at shows and that kind of networking and crossover opportunity. So let's talk about the show that's coming up at Mississippi Studios on January 9th.
Yay!
Yeah, speaking of Portland music community, Isabeau Waiu Walker is headlining with her band, the
Amazing.
Noise Boys.
Noise Boys.
Yeah.
Love it.
I actually never met her. I had just seen her performance on KEXP, and I was so taken by it that I immediately told Patti, like, if we could ever play a show with Isabeau, let's try. And so we reached out, and we're lucky that she said yes, and I hope that she doesn't regret it, but we'll be playing first. Doors, so this Friday, January 9 at Mississippi Studios, doors at 8:30. We play at 9, and an hour later, Isabeau takes the stage.
Yeah. And my husband, Randy, will be doing lights for us.
Very nice.
He's a lighting designer in town.
He's doing a total strobe approach for our set. So
that's not true. Disclaimer, that's untrue.
Well, is he going to do something special? Something 80s-ish?
What would be 80s-ish?
I don't know. Randy's the professional. Brent, not me. I don't know.
I don't know. We could try calling him up right now, having him.
Randy, are you listening? Tell us what your plan is. We're excited. Well, I just need to know if anybody needs to take their epilepsy medication with them or anything like that.
Okay, that will not happen.
All right.
It will be safe.
Well, that's good. Good. All right. Well, January 9th, Mississippi Studios. You can get tickets on Mississippi Studios website. Can they also grab them through Port Velvet's website?
Yes, portvelvet.com.
Fantastic. Oh, and is that the best place for folks to pick up a copy of Midnight is Calling?
Yeah.
Yes, you can find that through our website as well.
All right, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, buying the record directly through us is the only way to get the full record at the moment. I think we put out 3.5 songs on the socials.
Yeah, like 3 songs from the record and then the live recording of Man Overboard.
Right.
On streaming services.
But it's a 10-song album, and it exists in digital form now, and will be on vinyl.
You can pre-order the vinyl now.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, pre-order is finally
Yeah, it'll be coming in the spring.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Why the decision to put it on vinyl?
I've been the biggest advocate for it.
Because vinyl rules.
Vinyl rules. And it's...
Can we store it at your house?
Oh, okay.
I guess, I'm a vinyl consumer. And to me, that's how I express my love. Like, I'll buy show tickets to see a band, or I'll buy the vinyl. And like, to me, that it's an expression of love, and I want us to give that opportunity to anyone who loves our music, to get to purchase it and have a physical thing that they can touch and own.
Well, it is the most tactile of all of the forms of music, and I think a lot of that has to do with just the act of putting the needle on, flipping the album over, taking it out of the sleeve, reading the liner notes.
How stiff it is when you open it for the first time.
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely
Don't
love
roll
it.
your eyes at me.
So pre-order a copy of Midnight is Calling on vinyl directly from portvelvet.com. And then if you're digging the music that you're hearing and want to go support Patti and Brent, check them out at Mississippi Studios on January 9th. You've got a show coming up later this month in Seattle. Where is that for our folks that are a little bit farther north?
That's just 1 week after. So it'll be Friday, January 16th at Hidden Hall. And we're playing second of 3. We're opening for Hot Bodies in Motion.
And opening is Sister Swimmer, and they're both excellent bands.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Little road trip.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be our second show up in Seattle. I don't know why we keep wanting to play there for some reason.
There's never been much of a scene up there.
I know, right?
I don't know. Well, Patti, Brent, thank you so much for coming down to Portland Radio Project. I strongly encourage folks to get themselves next Friday to Mississippi Studios for the really amazing show. That is January 9th. We're going to hear one more song from Midnight is Calling. We're going to close things out with Hold Still. Give us a little bit of info on Hold Still, other than the video.
Hold Still was strangely the result of my one and only hypnotherapy session.
Oh.
Yeah, my friend, she does kind of like this hypnotherapy kind of thing where it's not like, she's not like dangling a pocket watch in front of you and saying, you're getting very sleepy. It's not like that. It's not like the cliche. It's more like a very relaxed way. And then anyway, I could go into it, but basically what she tries to do is she tries to like get you to give an identity or a name to like a certain aspect of things in your life, and you give that a name. And maybe that's in tension with a different group of things in your life, and you give that a different name. And then you set these two identities in conversation with each other, and you're like, what do these things sound like when they're talking to each other? A very interesting approach to reframing things in your heart or in your mind that might be in tension or that you're puzzled about or stuck on. So that was really fun. And I remember some of the images that came forth through that were images that ended up getting used in the song Hold Still.
No handle for the haze.
Right.
I think that was one you said came from that.
Yeah.
How creativity felt like it was a jar without a handle or something. Does that sound right?
Oh,
Yeah. Like,
that's very deep.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't hold on to it,
Yeah.
you know.
Like wanting something to stay, like wanting so much for something to stay and then being powerless to, force it to stay or whatever. Whether that's, creative inspiration or some other
Person.
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or, yeah.
Deep. Very
We
deep.
just got really deep.
We did.
Yeah.
I am curious. I'll lighten the mood. I'm curious to know if there's like a word that maybe got implanted that if you just hear it randomly, you'll start clucking like a chicken or something. I don't know. I'm going to throw out some random words. Maybe Randy will know.
Yeah,
Maybe
Randy,
that's
why
the
don't
other
you
thing
call
Randy
in?
knows.
Call in, give us some tips. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, thank you both so much again. Port Velvet, Mississippi Studios. Pick up a copy of Midnight is Calling on their website, portvelvet.com. I will have links to everything on our website, which is prp.fm. Thank you both so much for coming down to Sounds of PDX.
Thank you so much for having us.
Click.
We found it.
I found the magic word.
Yeah.
This is Hold Still by Port Velvet. Thanks for tuning into prp.fm. Don't go too far away. Another State of Mind coming up next.
You're listening to KPRP LP, Portland Radio Project.